How are you, sir?
I'm great, Adam. It's been a great summer, but we're excited for opening night next Thursday night.
Yes, a week from yesterday. Could not be more excited about it. Before we get to this particular team, I want to ask you about a player who is not here, and that's Bradley Nadau. When you were breaking in, and you were on the team, by the way, when Rod Brind'amour was also here, and I realize he was a player then, not a coach, so it's hard to really gauge what the two things are. If you were going to guess, or maybe you know, what Bradley Nadau needs to prove in Chicago, what, that he has done this before he can do this here, what do you think it is?
I think it's just continued consistency and growth, because Mike Maniscalco and I talked with Bill Burniston this week about Bradley Nadau. He loved his improvement over the summer, size, strength, speed to his game. And the hardest part every team faces when you look at this lineup and the depth of NHL players you have is weighing out the option as if Bradley Nadau stayed here, is he going to play enough to continue the big key word, which is development? Right. And I think that wasn't going to happen. I agreed with the decision to send him to Chicago because you want to see this guy now. Very good season last year in Chicago, but I think the key for him going there now is to dominate that league. Not only go out and just score goals, but score goals in big moments to lead the team to victory, continue to develop the leadership part of things as he grows inside that locker room, and just progress. There's going to be times this season where I am very confident we'll see Bradley Nadau the way the National Hockey League is, but you have to continue to progress and not look at this as a huge negative. That's the hardest part for any young player, saying, I played so well in exhibition. Why am I being sent down? You have to get past that. You have to get past that very quickly, get back on track, and continue to put the puck in the back of the net and lead the Wolves to victories. As I said, in those very hard, tight situations, consistently being that guy.
Shane Willis is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. What I have tried to tell fans, because as you know, and this is not Hurricanes fans specific, this is all fans. We always overrate prospects. We always assume that a prospect will simply enter the lineup and do exactly what he did at lower levels. Both of those things do not happen. It is rare. There are very few Cale Makars of the world who leave college, step into an NHL playoff game, and look like, oh, he might be the best player in the league at that position. Very few. That's the reason why Cale...
You can count those guys on one hand.
Yeah. Cale Makar is going to make $18 million a year at some point because of that. Now, what I look at Nadau is how much of your offense is 5-on-5. Do you play a 200-foot game? Are you reliable? Because, as you said, if you have to shelter the player at the NHL level, then it's going to be 11 or 12 minutes a night, if that. Even if you play with good players and you could create a scoring line of Nadau, Kokoniemi, and Taylor Hall on Carolina's third scoring line, if you will, but that line isn't going to play more than 11 or 12 minutes a night. And wouldn't he be better served proving that he's got all of those traits by playing 17 to 19 minutes a game in a featured role in the American Hockey League, at least for the first month and a half of the season?
I agree with you completely. And what I'm going to say, do not take away the fact that I truly believe Bradley Nadau is on track to be a very, very good National Hockey League player. But everyone looks at this saying, yes, he's scoring these goals. He's playing so very well. Do not overlook the fact of the lineups that he was playing against.
Right.
He was playing against very American Hockey League lineups in every one of those exhibition games. I love coming to games. I can tell you I have not watched much of the exhibition season because it's tough to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Opening night's going to be a different animal.
Right.
And I think the easiest thing to look back on, even a bigger situation, because everyone had these expectations of young Alex Nikishin coming in, and he's getting thrown in the playoffs. I'm like, let's temper those a little bit. He's getting thrown into the deepest end of the ocean to try and impress and improve. So Bradley Nadau, great steps forward, but he needs to continue to grow. And at some point, he'll get a little bit of a longer look this season because of bumps and bruises and all those things inside the locker room. and it's about development, and we cannot overlook that. And I love what he did in exhibition, but it wasn't the highest level that he's going to see when he does get called up.
All right, let me ask you, what's the next step for Jackson Blake and Logan Stankoven? Stankoven obviously is being moved into the middle. They'll play on a line, it looks like, with Andrei Svechnikov based on practices. But what is the next step for Jackson Blake and Logan Stankoven in your eyes?
In my mind, being an offensive guy jumps out as production, right? You want these guys on the score sheet on a nightly basis, creating those chances and helping lead the goal category for Rod Brind'amour and this team. But as well as I know Rod Brind'amour, the number one focus, let's pull back into the defensive zone, is making sure your line isn't giving up things defensively because of trying to find that offense, right? Where does it start? In the defensive zone, in the neutral zone, managing the puck. And when all those things are really, really tight, and you talk about Stankoven moving to center ice, now you have Jackson Blake and Fetch, that's going to be a main focus early on. Do not turn the puck over, hold on to things, make those plays, and that's where the offense will come from. But in my mind, long term, you want to see that line, if they're together on opening night, putting the puck in the back of the net and leading this team in the goal category along with the other top line.
How long, Shane Willis is joining us here in the Adam Gold Show, how long do you think it's going to take? I don't know, I mean, it might happen, and it can really happen in practice, who knows, for Jarvis, Aho, Ehlers. How long should people give it for them to form chemistry? They played together once. I'm sure they're going to play tomorrow, but they played together once. They created a ton of chances against, a bunch of traffic cones. Didn't score, but how long should people give?
3 minutes. No. 3 minutes in the opening night, it'll be 1-0 for the Canes. Now, if that happens, we can go back to the show. But I think these three guys are so dynamic. And let's first look at Aho and Jarvis. Both of these guys want to continue to take steps forward, and they want to continue to build their offensive side of things. I've talked a lot about Sebastianaho being that guy that makes the move to 100 points for the Carolina Hurricanes. He has dynamic wingers on both sides that can score. Nikolai Ehlers is a great playmaker. They all have speed. So I think the way when you look at this line, when you talk about chemistry, all three of these players kind of fit together perfectly in my mind. So the chemistry should come naturally, but you really want to see the back of the net get hit in game one. You don't want it to kind of drag on 1, 2, 3 games and the line hasn't scored, because it doesn't matter what offensive player you're talking to. If they can get one early, that's just going to ignite this line's confidence, going to ignite the building. And I think the key important part is everyone always looks at the October trip as a negative. As a player, I think it's a positive. To take the team out on the road, especially with new players, that's a time to really come together as a unit. But I think this line really gets it going in game one without a doubt in my mind.
Man, that first road trip, I mean, 6 games. There are 4 teams that think they're Stanley Cup contenders, not just playoff contenders. Only San Jose is not a playoff team. I think Anaheim is a playoff team too, but L.A., Colorado, Vegas, Dallas, there are 4 teams that think they're going to be in the Stanley Cup Finals. Shane Willis, I'm going to see you very soon, my friend. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Adam. Have a great one, bud.
You too. Shane Willis with the Carolina Hurricanes, pregame, postgame, sometimes during the game, analyst, all sorts of stuff.